Welcome back, everybody, to the Blues feed. We have survived the international break. We are back with Premier League football. We've got a new episode with the same obsession. We're here today with Luke. How you doing, mate?
Yeah, good mate. Good to be back, and only one more international break before March now. So we're nearly at the best part of the season. So I'm
Absolutely.
all good, man. I'm all good.
Does annoy me this time of the season. You play like 3 games, then you go away, and then you 3 games, and you go
Have you
away
seen
again.
what they're
It's
doing next
ridiculous.
year for the international break?
Yeah, they're
That's going to be
combining
weird.
two, aren't they? So you got
September and
like,
October is like a 3 week, four fixture international break.
yeah, so like no 2 weekends where you don't have football. Be
Yeah, it's
weird.
weird, man.
Especially as next year will be even weirder because there's like no World Cup. Like it'd just be like Euro qualifiers and friendlies. It'll be a bit
It'd be like
mental. But
Nations League or some crap like that. But
yeah, bollocks.
anyway,
Anyway, let's get into it. Before we do jump into the episode, just want to remind everybody to drop a subscribe and a comment below to enter into the 1K subscriber giveaway. We're about halfway there now. So every subscriber and every comment gets us closer and helps us out in the algorithm to get quicker to that goal. And we will send you a 25-26 shirt. To get into the episode, we've got the best comment. Yeah, like the one that Lucas finally got himself after speaking about it for ages. Um, to get into the episode, we've got the best comment. We've got Bobby Jones, 2004. That makes me feel very old to
yeah, I
start
hope that's
with.
not his year of birth because
Yeah,
that makes me feel so old, man.
yeah,
Hopefully
yeah,
that's just Bobby Jones, 2004. That's when Mourinho joined.
yeah. Hopefully, first time we won the Premier League in ages. Hopefully, that's
Yeah.
the reason. Esteval's performance are making me really excited for Quenda. I think I've probably echoed exactly that. I mean, Esteval's performances are crazy. Like how he's just settled in. I think more from a physicality perspective and just maturity perspective, more than kind of anything else. I mean, the talent was always there, but I thought it might take him a little bit longer to kind of get into it. But he just looks ready to go. I said at the start of the season, I thought once he'd get some like minutes and some kind of performances, he'd be too good to take out. But I didn't expect it to be in October. I thought it'd be more kind of December, January time. But he looks like he's ready, and I will get onto this lineups. I wouldn't actually start him this game, but we'll talk about that in a bit. But I will definitely start him in the week against Ajax. And yeah, I mean Quenda. I don't know if you saw the goal he scored against it for Portugal under 21s, but it was an absolute rocket. So
You know what I'm going to say about Quenda, man. I'm going to hold it over you for as long as I possibly can. When you
yeah,
come
fair
in,
enough.
I've got the message somewhere that Danny was slating the signing, this, that, and the other. Obviously, with no context behind it, to be fair to him. But yeah, I've been banging the Quenda drum for a while, and I'm so excited to see him, man.
Yeah, I mean, I think yeah, he's going to be good. I mean, for my defence, I thought we were signing a left wing back, and
That's what
we
I mean.
don't play with wing
You
backs.
didn't have
But
context behind it, but still,
yeah,
that doesn't matter. If I give it no context, basically, you just didn't want Quenda at the club. But we
yeah,
like to give
I did.
context
I think
on
my
this show,
exact
don't we?
res- I think my exact response was, "Why the fuck are we signing this 18-year-old for 35 million or something like that?" But
Yeah, it was something
fair
along
play.
them lines for sure.
But I think it does spark a little bit of an interesting debate with the whole Quenda, Esteval, Statapev, Payas, etc. all coming through. Chelsea are making like a conscious effort to sign younger talent with a higher ceiling as opposed to kind of a more established players with a lower
Yeah,
ceiling but a higher floor. Um, I mean, they're doing it because they don't feel like they can compete financially with the top clubs due to the stadium revenue, and they're making the decision to sign younger players. But I don't think I'd go quite as far as Chelsea do, but I can kind of understand it. But yeah, I mean we've got some really exciting talent coming through.
you think if like the likes of, let's take Cole Palmer for an example, if he didn't explode the way that he did when we signed him, and he gradually got into his groove at Chelsea, and say, right now we've had him for 2 years, and now he's getting to the level that he's actually already at. That same summer, Tottenham signed James Maddison. And you'd think at the time, James Maddison, the better player, but in 2 years' time, Cole Palmer will go over the top of him. Obviously, Palmer went a bit freakish and done it instantly, but you could sort of see the plan in there. It's okay. Spurs can sign a player that might be a bit better than the player we're signing now, but in 2 years' time, that player is going to have already hit his ceiling, and his ceiling and his floor is going to be lower than the floor of our player that we're signing. And you can sort of see that, and I get it, and I understand it, and I accept it, but at the same time, it can be frustrating when we go on a bad patch of games. It's like, why are we signing all these 16-year-olds when we could sign somebody ready? But it's different for the short term and the long term. For the short term, we obviously want players ready now, but for the long term, if we're going to sign another Esteval or another player along that sort of lines, you're going to just keep getting excited about players, and then they're going to develop and develop, and then you're going to get to a point where you can't have all of these players, and you're going to get a Hazard situation where you get 150 million for somebody. And okay, we're not a selling club, we don't want to be that, but sometimes you have to accept that and go, once in a blue moon, take that money, take all that profit, reinvest it back into the squad. And I do understand the way they're working it, and I do like it to an extent, but it's when you have the Rob Sanchez's in goal and your centre halves aren't that strong that it does become a little frustration.
Yeah, I completely agree. I think if you look at it now, you look at like the Sanchez, for example, the centre back situation, as you kind of said there, they're kind of being very cautious about your Sars, your Anselminos, and your Penders, which is why we're frustrated now that we have to deal with subpar talent for Chelsea's perspective when they're not thinking about signing someone because of those people coming through. I mean, I put something out on Twitter the other day where um, I said I think people will moan about this project less in 2 years' time, 2, 3 years' time. Once, I mean, Esteval could have been here 3 years and he'd be 21, and Palmer would be like 24, 25, and he would be established. And like Anselmino and Sarr could be starting and doing really well, and Penders could be one of the best goalkeepers in the world. It's just the issue of now, and they want to keep doing this. So then, in 3 years' time, if you've got Quenda, Palmer, and Esteval starting every week, and then you've got this 17-year-old kid who's coming through, who's the next Esteval, then it doesn't matter as much if that guy kind of takes a little while to settle in, because you've got your Estevals, Palmers, and Quendas actually doing it now. So I get it; it's frustrating for now, but I mean, I was lucky enough to speak to somebody who's in the know of what's going on, and Chelsea's perspective is they would rather take longer to get to the point where they're expected to challenge for the league to be able to stay there longer than they would get there quicker but then have to come out. So like, for example, they perceive Arsenal as a very good side now, but they have a lot of aging players like Raya and Kepa and Gabriel, and they've got lots of injury players. So yes, they might be able to win it now, but in 2, 3 seasons they could have a big drop off because all of their better players are either ruined from injury or too old, meaning that then they're going to have to fight to get back up. So Chelsea want to get to the first level and could be able to compete, but stay there once they're there. They don't want to be one of these
Yeah,
yo-yo clubs.
it's that sustainability, isn't it? And as much as I love Roman and I love that era that we had under him, we never really sustained a period of dominance, did we? We were dominant in general. We'd win an FA Cup one year, a Prem the next, then obviously the Champions League or whatever. And this sounds really ungrateful, and I don't mean it in that way. But we've never done a City and won it 4 years on the bounce, or won the FA Cup 3 years in a row. I think they won the Carabao Cup 4 years in a row. Whatever they did, we've never really sustained that sort of dominance, and that's okay because we're still the most successful club in England in the last 20 years or whatever. But the area of sustainability will make us the largest club in England for a longer period of time, and that's sort of the point behind it. So it's one of those things, and obviously I think we've sidetracked slightly, but I think that Bobby, it's a fantastic comment to start with because you've raised such a debate already. So thank you for that. But yeah, in summary, Esteval is class, Quenda is class, and having them both in the same team will be class.
Absolutely. I think the only thing I would just add on to what you were saying is we only managed to repeat a Premier League once in the 2005-2006 season, and we were only able to win it twice in 3 years, once outside of that as well. So even though we are the most successful club, we never were able to sustain it, like you say. And even in like FA Cups and stuff like that, we won it and then didn't win it for a couple of years, and then won it twice in a row, and then didn't win it for 3 years, and then didn't win it for 7 years or something like that after that. So I completely agree with you. I don't think the way Roman run the club was going to be possible anymore. Because I mean, even if you take somebody like City, who do just buy the best players, they've still had to buy some younger ones to let them
Yeah,
come through. They
exactly
haven't
that.
been able to just go and buy the best player in every position, because you've got financial fair play. Not that City play by those rules, but anyway, we'll move on to that. We'll get on to the Forest preview. That's why we're here. Like Luke says, thanks you for the comment, Bobby. That was a really, really good comment that sparked a good debate, and that's what we want from everyone. So, everybody, please drop a comment down below, your latest thoughts, your thoughts on the game, anything you want, and we'll pick out one comment every episode, and we'll have a conversation about it. But to get on to the Forest game, we've got Ange Postecoglou, who is absolutely stinking up the gaff at Forest after stinking up the gaff at Tottenham. I actually quite like him personally from a personality perspective, but also really enjoy that he's doing shit because of how brash and out there he actually is. So it's kind of a love-hate relationship I have with him. I think he'd be a manager that I'd really like from a personality perspective if he was at Chelsea, but probably hate the actual results on the pitch. But to get into kind of the shape, this is the shape from the Newcastle game. I mean, it doesn't look fantastic there, does it at all? From a from a setup perspective, I mean, when I was doing some analysis on Forest under Ange, the two things that I kind of picked out from watching the games were spacing behind the fullbacks, which is backed up by that shape, and then also they're still really uncomfortable with the ball at their feet in the kind of deep positions in the three at the back or in the defenders and as well as cells. So from my perspective, if we can attack quickly in behind the wing backs and get in behind them and cut it back and cross it and things like that, I think we can have some great success. And then also pressing them at the front and being very aggressive, because they'll cough up the chances, or cells will just boot it up the pitch, and then I'd back ourselves to have a good chance of kind of winning that first ball or second ball after that. There's a reason why we'll go on to it in the lineups, but there's a reason why I've chosen Badiashile and Tosin as my centre back choice for kind of that reason, because I think Chris Wood's obviously very aerially dominant, and I would just be a little bit scared about putting Josh up against him. I got a little bit of PTSD from the Man United game, where obviously it wasn't Josh, it was Trev, but Sesko winning that ball in the air was something that obviously broke us down, and I kind of want Tosin's size more than anything, and aerial dominance in this game. Anything you want to kind of add on Forest's shape, or where you think there's a weakness outside of what I've just said?
Yeah, I mean, for anyone that's listening rather than watching, the glaring weakness for Forest is behind their fullbacks. So I think getting in and getting around there and sort of exploiting them areas is definitely going to be key, with the likes of Cucurella overlapping or inverting as he does, or the same with Reece or whoever starts at right back. So I think that's going to be key areas of the pitch. And luckily we have players that like to drift into them positions and that sort of space. So that should help us. And yeah, like you say, I don't mind Tosin playing, to be honest. I just think that Josh handled Isak, so Chris Wood should be a walk in the park really for him. But
I'm just
we'll
talking
see.
physicality wise.
Yeah,
Obviously,
I
Isak's a little
see
bit
it.
different of a profile. Obviously, Isak's a much more technically gifted
I just think
player.
it's time for Josh to get a run now. We can't keep bringing him in for one game and taking him out, because you're going to end up breaking his confidence at some point.
I'd start him against Ajax. It kind of comes into it, and we'll talk about it in more depth
Yeah,
when we get
it's
onto the
just
lineups.
I
But
get
that's where
I
I'm
get
coming
what you
from.
mean, but yeah, I don't know. I'm fully in the camp of let's just give Josh the keys now and let him run with it and just pick his
Fair
partner to
enough.
suit the game. But yeah, overall, I think it's a game that we need to go out and win. But what I will say is we need to make sure we keep the crowd quiet. A lunchtime game at the City ground. If they get an early goal, they'll be flying. So we've
And
got
also on
to
the other side is, if we can get an early goal, they'll get quite frustrated, because
exactly that. Yeah,
they didn't really want Nuno to be sacked. I don't think they're particularly enjoying it under Ange at the moment. Well, I mean, they've not won in 7 games, so I think we can use the crowd to our advantage. If we
yeah, for sure.
start well and we score an early goal, we could make it very comfortable for us, because they're going to be quite kind of fragile. The crowd's going to get on their back, and you could start seeing where they just kind of ignore the manager's instructions, and you get like a mishmash of playing their way plus playing and playing Postecoglou ball, shall we call it? So, yeah, I think we need to get at them quite early. Very high pressure very early on. I mean, we've had some good rest throughout the squad with some of the players not going into astral duty, and Enzo Fernandez kind of having a week off as well. So, yeah, let's go and attack them with some high intensity and take
Yeah,
it
for
to them,
sure.
and then we might be able to just control the game from there. I think the only other thing I would say is they do give up a lot of space on the edge of the box. So I think some shots from longer range, be that Garnacho cutting in from the left, or Enzo Fernandez or Caicedo, take some shots. Sales is a very good goalkeeper, but they cough up a lot of opportunities on the edge of the box. So
Yeah,
have some pop shots. And I mean, Caicedo, another banger. Why not?
I'd love to see it, man.
I can't say I disagree. To go into the lineup, we've not gone from a predicted lineup because I don't think we can really predict it because we don't really know the full fitness of some of the players. We don't fully know who's available and what's going to happen. So as it's at the end of international break, we're going to just go through our own lineups. I've got João Pedro up top, Garnacho on the left, Enzo Fernandez in the 10, Neto on the right, Caicedo and Lavia in the middle, Cucurella, Badiashile and Tosin in the middle, James at right back and Sanchez in goal. To kind of explain why I want that, I think Garnacho has to start on the left. I think he's done enough in the Liverpool game to take that spot himself. I think it'd be good to get Lavia some minutes from the start and kind of try and start building up his fitness. He won't be able to play 2 games in a week, so let's do it against Forest and we can rest him against Ajax. I think Enzo Fernandez should start in the 10, give us a little bit more defensive solidity from a counter-attack perspective, but also he presses very well. I mean, he's not the most mobile, but he does work hard. So I think that'll be good, and he can drop deeper and link the play and have some of those pot shots that I'm talking about, and also attack the box. I'm also saving Esteval for Ajax. One, I think it will suit him a little bit better from a team versus team perspective, but also he's been in South America and he played both games, so don't know how fit he's going to be and ready to start. Maybe just give him another few days and then play him against Ajax um, when it'll be a little bit less physically demanding as well. And I've gone Tosin at the back, as I said previously, just for the physicality and the height. I think Badiashile deserves to 100% start. And I think Josh Achimpong Shart, brilliant. And I think Josh deserves to start, but I'd play him against Ajax just purely from that physicality with Chris Wood. Let's hope they don't shart themselves on Sunday and we get the
Yeah,
win.
yeah.
Do you
Let's
want to
hope not, man.
go, teammate?
Yeah, so yeah, similarly to you, Sanchez in goal, James at right back, is great left back. I think they pick themselves. Badiashile, if fit, is he has to start on that left side now. Like I said a little bit earlier, I just want to give Josh the keys now. I feel like we can end up sort of stunting his development slightly if we keep picking him for one game, dropping him for a game, picking him for one game. And I know you're not particularly dropping him per se, but for me, it's just give him the keys now and let him have a run of 4, 5, 6 games starting and really show that confidence in him and in his ability. I was torn between Enzo and Lavia because obviously we know Enzo got released from Argentina duty a little bit early as well. But the other way to you, I was thinking more give Lavia that extra few days rest and then play him in the Champions League on Wednesday. And then with Esteval, similarly to Josh, to be honest, mate, I just feel like I just want to give him the keys now, give him a run of starts. Obviously, he did play twice for Brazil, but the second game he only played 10, 15 minutes at the end. So not as draining on him. And luckily, with a lot of our internationals, they played in the first fixture rather than the second. So that's quite helpful. And then I think, yeah, the wingers pick themselves. There are two most hard-working wingers, and they're our two most threatening wingers being direct, and we want to be direct and getting behind the space this weekend. So Esteval in the 10, Garnacho and Neto out wide, and then yeah, João Pedro is the only real fit number 9. Although I was tempted to play Mark Guiu and give João Pedro a little bit of a breather as well, but I feel like we've got to go out and win this game.
So from my perspective, I think exactly the same from Aguiu, and I probably take Enzo Fernandez and Lavia, or definitely one of them off at like 60 minutes. One, Enzo's obviously still got that little bit of niggle with his knee, but also I'd drop Pedro back into the 10 and put Guiu up top because
Exactly.
it'll
Yeah.
be good to give one, good to give minutes to Pedro in the 10, but also give Guiu a few more minutes because he's going to have to start, I would assume, on Wednesday against Ajax because obviously João Pedro is an idiot and got sent off. So
yeah, we need to end. I know we'll preview Ajax, but we've got to end this Tyreek George at 9 bollocks. Like, just play Mark Guiu now.
I'm hoping that obviously now he's actually played and
Yeah,
there's no politics about Guiu obviously not being able to move in Jan if he did played a minute because he would have played for 3 sides and stuff like that. Now that's been done, I'm hoping that the George at 9 experiment is done because I mean neither of us particularly rate George, but I certainly don't rate George as a 9, for example.
agree.
Let's stop pretending that he's going to save your job again, Enzo Maresca, and let's just play the 9 who actually is a 9. And to be honest, even if he's not that good on the ball and finishing and stuff out, he makes stuff happen because he works harder. I'm genuinely not sure there's a more hardworking 9 in the Premier League than
He
Mark
created
Guiu.
3 chances when he come on against Liverpool by actually not doing anything apart from running.
Just chasing that. I mean, to be honest, the more I'm thinking about it, maybe I would start Pedro in the 10 and Guiu up top because if he was harassing this back 3 who are being forced to play out the back, they're going to cough up chances to him. So I certainly wouldn't hate that.
Yeah.
I wouldn't hate that on my team. Drop in Lavia to the bench, Enzo into midfield, Pedro in the 10, and put Guiu up top. But also can understand why he might not want to risk Guiu potentially getting a random injury when he then have to play George up front. So we'll see.
Yeah.
It's going to be a very interesting team sheet come what will be 11:15 on Saturday because I don't think anybody truly knows who's fit and who's not outside of what we might get tomorrow in the press conference.
Yeah.
I wonder if we'll get Big Willie doing the press conference because obviously Maresca's got sent off, or if Maresca will do it, and then don't know. We'll find out. And then to go into the score predictions to wrap it up, we've actually both agree on 3-1. We've both agreed that Pedro will score. We've both agreed that Garnacho will score. And then I've gone for Caicedo rocket from the edge of the box, as I kind of alluded to in the preview of how Forest play. I think there's a lot of space that are given at the end of the edge of the box. And I mean, Caicedo's got to just keep ripping them because he will keep scoring them and his confidence has got to be high with that. You've gone for a Cucurella goal. I've gone man of the match Caicedo, and you've gone man of the match Enzo Fernandez. You want to give any kind of reasonings to any of your predictions?
Yeah, I think João Pedro is going to play, and like you say, he's banned Wednesday, so he'll probably get 90, and he is probably our most dangerous player in and around the box. And you've Garnacho, I just think that he's looked quite sharp, and I can see the sort of the goal we had against Benfica, where it was a cross from the right to the back post on the left. I can be seeing that being quite a well-used combination for us this season. I think Garnacho's got the composure to finish there, so I can see something like that cropping up, and then Cucurella is just due a goal, man. He hasn't scored for a little while. He's due one, and I think Enzo will just glue it all together. I feel like this is the sort of game that we're going to try and dominate the ball. And normally, if we dominate the ball, he's heavily involved.
Yeah, I think fair enough. I don't disagree with a lot of that. I could see Cucurella scoring. He's been getting into more of those positions. He got his first assist of the season the other day, didn't he? So
Exactly, yeah.
he certainly. I mean, he averages like a big chance every other game. He just hasn't taken one yet. So yeah, I could definitely see that. For sure. I think this could be a game where we if we're aggressive enough in our press, we could literally just pin them in, and the only time they get possession is either fannying about with it at the back or just booting it up the pitch. And that's kind of why I'm, again, to go back to it, why I'd like Toss in there, because if you've got Tosin and Badiashile, Chris Wood's not going to have a fun day trying to take 60-yard balls out of the air with them two right up his arse. So
yeah, for sure.
I mean, the one thing that we cannot do is be Charity FC and bail Ange Postecoglou and Forest out of a bad situation, because we like ending people's runs without goals, and we like giving people results when they're going bad. So yeah, let's hope we don't do that. Anything else you'd like to discuss or talk about before we finish up?
No, mate, just be nice to get back to Premier League football with 3 points after that lovely win against Liverpool. So
yeah, absolutely. I mean, Everybody, drop a follow on the Twitter to see what's going on there. Drop a subscribe. You guys are going to be probably sick of us soon because we're going to end up doing a video every 3 days at least, because the games are coming thick and fast now until the last international break, and then after that they might even come even quicker than that. And then we've got January around the corner, and I'm sure we'll get involved in the transfer window because we love being in the news. So we will catch you all guys soon. Big up the Chelsea. See you next time.